welcome to another episode of Lincolnshire Living. In today's programme we're going to be meeting some fascinating people and having a look at what's going on in the region. So what's coming up in today's Lincolnshire Living? We've been invited to the Oasis Academy for lunch. We visit Farring's Nature Reserve with South Parade Primary School and the Taylor family. We look at complementary medicines at Earth Energies in Scunthorpe. And we're treated to an evening of entertainment at the Actions Speak Louder Awards. A health trainer might be a relatively new concept to you or I, but a group of people in North East Lincolnshire have been working hard on a new initiative to put the friendly face of a health trainer in and around the community. But what is a health trainer and what do they do?
Hello.
Hi. Can you just tell me what you do?
Health trainers were first thought of, I think, in a white paper, a government white paper, which was called Choosing Health. The government had recognised that people are starting to get the messages about what they need to do to improve their health, but realised that they need an awful lot of support. We all need support to make these important changes.
How many cigarettes do you smoke a day?
About 15 to 20.
15 to 20. What sort of time would you say you'd light up when you get up in the morning? Within?
Yeah, as soon as I've had a cup of coffee, I normally light one up.
5 or 10 minutes, would you say?
Yes, about that.
Okay.
For myself, it's a very fulfilling role. You get to see the actual changes in people. I've had lots of clients that have come along with incredible issues, some far more in depth than what I was initially anticipating. And at the end of the sessions, I mean, it was initially set out for a 6-week session, but I've had some clients that have taken considerably longer than that. And when you see someone that has absolutely turned their life around and gone from a very poor state of health, and we're not just talking dietary-wise and fitness, but socially as well, and their life has been turned around, the personal satisfaction from that is absolutely amazing. I think that's one of the best parts of this job, if not the best part of the job.
You take this, I'm going to give you a prescription to get some patches or some gum. It's up to you what you feel that you'd like to use.
Okay.
Take this along to the chemist, along with this prescription. They'll give you some patches or some gum.
I became a health trainer because I actually saw the advert in the local evening paper wanting people to work within their own communities. I've lived in Immingham for a long time and I have certain members of my family. I know what's good about living in Immingham and I know some of the things that aren't as good. And I felt that I could help to make a difference. I'd worked within the voluntary and community sector for a long time, so I had quite a lot of contacts out there. And I thought that I could hopefully make a difference within my community.
Okay then, Debbie, there's my card. If you need any support over the next week, there's an appointment date on the back of it, similar time if that's okay with you. And just good luck,
Yes.
And I'm sure you'll be fine.
The Oasis Academy has come to town and arrived in style. We were invited to a Chamber of Commerce lunch, which was organised and prepared by the pupils, one of the new initiatives to help open opportunities for pupils, businesses and communities. Let's take a look at how it went.
Cooking is making a comeback at Immingham's latest addition to the community. The Oasis Academy is putting domestic skills back on the curriculum, and today the students face their biggest culinary challenge yet. The business community are coming for lunch, and this kitchen is hotting up to deliver a 3-course meal fit for fat cats.
Part of today is about this step change because there's a lot of people that run Immingham down, and some of it's really unjustified. And I think today is around changing people's perceptions, where industry is coming into the academy to really see what we're doing and really sort of feel comfortable with what we're doing. I mean, a nice thing about today is the children have largely planned everything to do with today. They're doing all the food, they're doing all the presentations, they're doing everything to do with today. It's not the adults that are doing it. And I think that's a real measure of the change, that they feel confident to be able to do those sorts of things. I mean, our watchword for the academy is what makes me employable. So these sorts of events are exactly what make you employable. The experiences outside the normal learning experience, and that's the whole centre of what we do in the academy. Everything we do is about the reality of learning.
Representatives from the Hull and Humber Chamber of Commerce and invited guests gathered inside as the trainee cooks put the finishing touches to the spread. Many of those who turned up were eager to find out more about the work of Oasis Academies.
Oasis schools are inclusive. We serve the whole community. We do not select by ability. We don't select by faith. We don't select in any other way than, do you live close to this school? How close is your front door to our front door? We serve a whole community.
Once hungry mouths were being fed, the students were able to reflect on the fruits of their labour.
We've been preparing for the meal for the Humber Chamber of Commerce. Well, next year I'm picking hospitality and catering, so it's going to help me to see what it's like to wait on people.
We're going to be waiting on today, so we're going to learn good hospitality, which is a subject I've taken for next year.
Holding a chamber event at a school might seem unusual, but for the Oasis Academy, forging links with the business community is integral to the success of Immingham School.
This school permanently excluded, fixed term excluded, disciplined too many children. Since September, for instance, we haven't permanently excluded anybody. We haven't our fixed term exclusions are down from over 600 in the old school to 5. And the whole place has changed. The attendance was 86%, we're now at 94%. The parents are largely, every parental meeting is oversubscribed. We've got more pupils wanting to come in. The instant impact is just massive. I mean, I couldn't have dreamed that it would happen all this way.
And they're not just impressing business people. Oasis are looking to form partnerships with all members of the community.
Besides the formal education, Oasis academies are all about things that you do before school and things that you can do after school. They're about healthy living and they're about healthy eating. We've got a great partnership we just launched with the local football clubs here, the Immingham Pilgrims, who didn't have anywhere to play. They didn't have a ground, so they couldn't get any further. So we've made them part of what we do, and we've given them our facilities, and they've become part of the academy.
A new curriculum, new building and new partners all point towards new achievements, something the head is certain of.
We're doing revolutionary work because we're actually freeing the children up to have an independent and flexible way of learning, and they're really sprinting ahead in learning and wanting to do things, and they're challenging us to do things, which is really, really nice.
I think it's been through a lot of changes because the uniforms changed, and I think people's attitudes have changed towards learning.
Before, Year 9s didn't do any GCSE courses, but they've changed it so that Year 9s at the end can have a GCSE already, so that then when they do the other GCSE they've got more chance of getting better jobs.
And when I went to school, I was always told to sit down and shut up. But in this school, actually, what we're about is recognising that this young person, this student, learns by doing things. And we want to give them projects so that they can excel in that way. And they learn their maths and they learn their English, but they learn it through working on a project. It's called personalised learning, and that's one of the things that we're about.
And they say the way to a person's heart is through their tummy. Let's hope that this business meal will have sealed the deal with Oasis Academy Immingham.
Farings Nature Resort is a hidden treasure not to be missed. Located on the outskirts of Barton, public and school visits are encouraged, as are volunteers to help out with the running of the shop and the general upkeep. We met up with South Parade Primary School and the Taylor family to find out more.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That's a bit better. Welcome to Farings. Well, Karen and I, we work for a charity called the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust. Have any of you ever heard of them before?
Well, I'm Helen Hornby. I'm the Principal Education Officer. I actually work on a project called the South Humber Bank Wildlife and People Project, which is based here at Farings National Nature Reserve. We get an awful lot of schools from Grimsby, from Hull, from Scunthorpe, and certainly a lot of kids, from the sort of poorer neighbourhoods. And quite often they don't get the opportunity to come out here or to go anywhere these days. I spent most of my time growing up messing about in back fields, but perhaps the children don't get the opportunity to do that anymore. So what we want to do is get them out here, get them down here and experiencing sort of wildlife and nature firsthand. So hopefully they'll grow up loving it and respecting it, and perhaps want to come down and do my job when I've finished.
We're going bird watching and we've got to look at things, but we haven't. We got to look at them so we can know what they're called. I've been looking for birds and different creatures. We found rabbit holes. We found the rabbit poo and the spider. we're having our lunch, and in the afternoon we have 2 activities, and one we go bird watching and another was pond dipping.
I'm Christine Brown, I work at South Parade Primary School. We've been coming here for at least 4 years. It's a wonderful facility for the children. We come here because our school is in the centre of Grimsby, and it's wonderful to bring the children out into the countryside and actually see what we've been learning about firsthand. And they're really, really interested in this topic, and it's great to actually come and see the birds, listen to the birds, see the butterflies and insects. And I hope it'll engender a real interest, a lifelong interest in our environment.
Now, when we go out bird watching, there's some important things that you need to try and understand, okay? Do we all know in our heads what a swan looks like?
My name's Anne Taylor. We started volunteering here last November, and mainly it was to help in the shop. We look after the stock, make sure the shelves are stocked up, and any events that are on, we do come down here and help as well.
I started to volunteer because it was a family interest. My wife got interested first. It's right on the doorstep. It's very convenient. We like the outside life, and the family took a real interest in it.
What's good for us is that we work together. The 3 of us are down here together, so we're doing things as a family. As opposed to doing our own separate things, which we were doing last year, and we were all going our separate ways and doing things differently. And we wanted to go out and get some exercise as well. So we do come down here as well when we're not volunteering. We come down here and walk around as a family again. So it's been beneficial in that respect for health-wise as well, and just working together and being together all the time.
On a good day, over here you can often see the common tern, the bittern occasionally, and the kingfisher flies about. In the winter we've had all sorts of things, from the red-throated diver to the smee from Scandinavia. So we're quite happy with this a little bit, but it's not always as busy as the next bit.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm a visitor and I'm also a volunteer here at Firings. I work behind the counter. I go out and I help the wardens and filter bird feeders as well. I can give advice to people if they want to know something about the birds, or if they want, say they want to see a chick, so the cygnets, I can show them where they are. I can show them generally easier ways to get round things and show them the ways around the reserve.
I'm going into the Hotel Pit Hide. In spring you can see the swans, cygnets and the coots chicks. And in summer, if you're lucky, you can see the bittern, the very elusive bittern, and the marsh harrier.
I've always been interested in wildlife. I remember when I was little, I used to watch little nature documents and all sorts of things like that. And I like the walking and I like the watching as well. I've learned it from going out with my mum and dad and talking to other people in the hide and on the walks, and because they can tell me where there is, and I've looked through books as well and identified the birds and animals I've seen.
For Matthew, it's been useful for him to sort of focus a career, and he's certainly very, very interested in the wildlife and conservation in this area, but he does actually want to spread his wings and go further afield, and it's been a really good grounding for him here. He's going to be spending some time working with the volunteer warden that goes out into the reed beds, and he's going to spend some time with him learning the ropes to be able to do that before he decides to go to university, which I know he wants to do zoology at university.
I'd hope to go to university, and I'd like to visit different places in the world, like the Amazon and the Congo and the savannas of Africa, and places like Sweden and Siberia. That's where I'd like to go.
Volunteers are essential to keep the Firings going. There's only a limited amount of finance available for the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust to maintain these places, and without the volunteers they would soon become overgrown and just not an amenity for the public in general.
I think for people who want sort of fresh air and meeting people, you certainly get that here. And also it's just to sort of make people think that this is on the doorstep in this area, and it's a natural sort of area to go and look at all the beautiful surroundings we've got here, and it attracts such the wild birds here, and it's fantastic that we've got it so close to us.
I think the interest for families at Firings, basically the wildlife, the birds, the opportunity to get out in the fresh air. You've got the river on the one side, the marshes on the other side, lots of different variety, and it seems to take people's interest.
I think everybody should have some time when they come to places like this, and you really need to come and help people who run these places, and you really need to get interested in it, and it's something which you can use whenever you need it. You can use it for general knowledge. If you learn something here, it's the best place to come to relax.
Whether it's back pain, insomnia or stress, complementary medicines can offer that extra bit of help alongside more traditional medicines. We wanted to find out about the services and techniques available in our area. Complementary therapies and medicines are now widely used throughout the UK. There are a range of therapies, techniques and medicines available, and I've spent some time at Earth Energies in Scunthorpe to find out what the clinic has to offer. So we've come along to Earth Energies today to speak to Saroja about osteopathy. Now Saroja, you've been a practicing osteopath for nearly 10 years now, so can you tell us a bit about it and where it came from, the history?
Well, osteopathy was developed by an American man. His name was Andrew Taylor Stills. And the story behind it is that he was feeling nauseous, he was feeling ill, and he leaned over a log and he heard something go crack in his back. And the nausea disappeared. So he got very curious about this and started to investigate the correlation between the musculoskeletal structure and the nervous system.
Right.
And that's how he got into it. When an osteopath sees a patient, we take everything in consideration. You look at their muscular structure, you look at their bones, you look at their spine. And what you do is you look for trouble areas. And when you find these troubled areas, you will know the symptoms that they give off. So you fix the area, you fix the problem.
What's the most common problems that people come to see you about?
The most common problem would be lower back pain. But that's because people don't realise how much osteopathy can treat.
What are the things that people wouldn't think about that it would be able to treat?
Well, I suppose the main things would be things like sinus problems, IBS.
Right.
Osteopaths do a lot of work with babies and young children. We get babies in for things like colic, babies that don't sleep well, babies that cry incessantly.
So on a more personal level, if I was to come to you and say, you know, I've just got general problems with my shoulders and my neck, how would you start to look at me as a patient?
Well, initially we'd take a full case history and a full medical history, and then we'd get you to take your clothes off.
Well, I've been lucky enough, or perhaps it's cheeky enough, to ask Saroja to have a look at my problems today, all in the name of television, of course. I've got problems with my shoulders and my neck, so Saroja, what's the first thing you look for in a patient with these symptoms?
Well, the first thing you do is you get your patient's face straight ahead and you look at the general anatomy. Right now, you're long-backed and you've got a fairly flat section through your mid-dorsal spine, sort of in there. Now what will happen there is it'll make these muscles work slightly harder.
Right.
If I could get you to go through some active movements for me.
Okay.
And see how your body moves.
Okay.
If I could get you to roll forward as though you're going to touch your toes, but only go as far as it's comfortable for you to go.
Right, okay.
And if you come up again. Right, watching you roll forward, you have a high side on this side. And that means if I follow the curve of your spine, you've got a very, very slight scoliosis.
Oh, right, so what does that mean then?
It means there's a lateral curve to the spine.
Right, right.
It's really common. Loads and loads of people have it. And since the high side to your scoliosis is on the concave side of it, it means that it's a structural scoliosis. It means you've had it for a very, very long time.
Right.
And it's unlikely to be wise to try and change that. But what you would also have is increased in tone of muscle in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could get you to run this arm down your leg as though you're tipping to the side. Brilliant. And if you go the other way for me. Right. Did you feel you were happier going to this side? there was more movement.
Yeah, I suppose there was actually.
You're right. Yeah, and that's because that general shape that you have in there.
Right.
You also move as a block through your mid-dorsal spine.
Right.
So you've got a hinge point about there, and you've got a hinge point about there. That would contribute to your neck problems.
Right.
Because everything isn't working as a smooth unit.
Right.
Right. And if I could get you to look at me over the shoulder.
The shoulder.
And twist all the way around. As far around as you can go. Excellent. And if you go the other way. Right. Brilliant. Again, twisting happier to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And if I can get you to look up at the ceiling for me and very gently arch over backwards. Right. And up again. And again, you've got a hinge point round about there. You'd feel it as a tender spot.
Okay.
And that is moving as a unit.
So that would be something from possibly birth or perhaps childhood?
Or even just the way you're built.
Right.
It could be familial, so it does run in families.
Sarah Jo had looked at my symptoms and she demonstrated how she would usually work on a patient with similar complaints.
You're looking to articulate your dorsal spine, that bit of your back. Yeah, and soft tissue work all through here, and then generally I do a little bit of work on your neck as well.
Yeah.
Articulation it's a gentle technique. I can be as vigorous as necessary or as gentle as necessary. I would probably be a lot more gentle if you were in your 80s. But yeah, can you feel that?
Yeah, definitely.
It's tender.
Yeah.
It's not painful, but there's just a tenderness to
like
it.
a twinge.
Yeah. And that is because that bit of your back segmentally isn't moving separately. It's moving as a block. So we try to get in there and just, I suppose the professional term for it is waggle it. Try to explain to my patients that if they are conscientious and do their exercise, they'll need less treatment.
Yeah.
Because your body will maintain the good that you get from treatment. Right, let's have a feel. Right, now can you feel?
Yeah, straight away that feels so...
Actually is moving better than it was. Brilliant.
That's great. Thank you very much for your help.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Earth Energies have a wide range of complementary medicines and treatments available for those who'd like to try an alternative for symptoms and complaints. The Action Speak Louder Awards were recently held at the Grimsby Town Hall. They were held to acknowledge the hard work put into local projects by local young people. We were treated to a variety of performances put on and performed by the young people themselves.
My name is Kim.
And I'm Leon.
And tonight we're here to host the Action Speak Louder Awards 2008.
Last year we had a new pot of funding called the Youth Opportunity Fund, and to celebrate the achievements that young people have made from the funding, we was asked by the government to hold a celebration evening, and as a result of the service we want to recognise these achievements every year for young people. There's been a great deal of involvement from the Young People's Service, from the police, from community sports and from the young people as well. We've actually taken the ideas from young people to organise the event. It's important to get young people involved in these kind of celebrations so that everyone recognises that we should be recognising the good things that young people bring to our community.
We got involved with the event through our manager. We actually did write the song ourselves. Our guitarist Chris actually wrote it. It was all about anti-bullying, and the song is based on our younger lives, really, how we was bullied in younger years.
We just want to show them really that you don't have to be afraid of if they're getting involved in bullying and stuff like that. It's just to try and make them feel like they can actually speak to people and not tell anyone and keep it hidden to themselves.
We've been into a few schools now and we've played a couple of our own songs, including the anti-bullying song that we do, just putting the message out there to all the students in the area, trying to get as many people involved as possible with it. We did quite a lot in Anti-Bullying Week back in November as well, going around schools and playing the songs to them.
1 week before the event, I'm actually pretty calm. It's okay, everything's really organised. I'm feeling really excited. It's going to be a lot bigger than it was last year with a lot better publicity, so I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic.
Tonight we're here to celebrate all the achievements that the young people in North East Lincolnshire have done.
It's really important tonight because they may not necessarily get recognition for all the hard work that they've put into their projects and ideas.
Kim and I are both involved through the North East Lincolnshire Youth Bank, which we are both founding members of. Recently, Youth Bank held their own awards evening, and Kim and I were both asked to host that again. So this evening, Amy Robinson, Youth Bank youth worker, has asked us to host the Actions Speak Louder Awards.
I'm Teresa Crowe and I'm a Young People's Engagement worker based at Immingham Young People Centre. The young people wanted a football scheme setting up. So we launched that in July of last year and it's been really successful. We have 55 young people turning up every single week participating in that. The reason we're at the Town Hall this evening is the project, the Immingham Football Project, has been nominated for an award. So we've come along for that this evening. The girls wanted to do dance, so we've set up a dance session at Immingham. That started in November and it's gone from strength to strength. What I think is really nice about it is we've got the boys involved as well, and they've been really creative. We've got a dance teacher who shows them new skills, but they've also had input as well. And it's not just about football or learning new skills or dancing, it's about raising the self-esteem and the confidence which enables them to go on and do something else with their lives.
We're Charles Angels from the Immingham Youth Centre. We're here at the Actions Speak Louder Than Words award ceremony to perform our dance routine that we've practiced for the last 6 weeks.
Hi, well my name's Andy Oliver and I'm Chief Inspector of Humberside Police. I'm here tonight because I've been asked, because of my role, to actually deliver an award in relation to the Young Person of the Year award. Nights like this are extremely important because we need to actually recognise as a police service and as a council and indeed as adults the hard work that young people put in to actually achieving the best that they can do. And it's like this, you know, where the young people have actually themselves decided who the awards winners are going to be. It's important that we continue things like this so the young people understand that their work is recognised and it's a benefit to them and the rest of the people in North East Lincolnshire.
Tonight we think we played really well actually. It was quite a good sound that we got up there and we really enjoyed playing tonight.
Yeah, the atmosphere is actually really good tonight. Everyone seems to be really enjoying themselves, the clapping, cheering, whistling, all that. It's really good, proper enjoying it.
Well, I really think, you know, the bands here tonight are really, really good. I mean, they've all got potential, you know, they just need to keep going at it.
If somebody has been to the event and they want to get involved, the best thing to do would probably be to log on to our new website, which is www.pulselinks.org.uk, and they can actually find out where their local activities and projects are taking place, and they can actually get actively involved in their community.
We're outlined, goodbye.
Well, that's all we've got time for on today's Lincolnshire Living, but remember the programme is about you and your community, so if you have a story, then do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you, and our contact details are coming up shortly. Bye for now.